not everything in the world except what we're doing, but you know, that's called growing up, and you just have to find a way to get it going here. Ava, this is not what you should be doing now. Drawing on your back. Now, very quickly on the quiz. Look, triangle ABC is the original triangle. Just about everybody drew that perfectly, which I would expect. That's a good thing. Then the big thing is it said to reflect over the x-axis. A number of people reflected over the y-axis. And then it said take these coordinates. I drew it here to show you. Take the image of the triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. The blue one is A prime, B prime, C prime. It said take those coordinates and dilate by a scale factor of 2, which means take all the blue coordinates and multiply everything by 2. And that comes out with this, I don't know, pinkish burgundy kind of mauve kind of color that we got here for A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. So what I saw on a lot of people's papers, people were good at multiplying to get the dilation. People were actually good at reflecting. The problem is a lot of people reflected over the wrong axis. A lot of people reflected over the y instead of x. And a number of people reflected the wrong, or dilated the wrong triangle. Some people dilated the original triangle, and they got a new triangle down here, and you did dilate, you did multiply by 2, but you picked the wrong triangle to do that too. So you got to be a little bit careful about that. Now, I also screwed up because I looked at what I had left as quiz B in the series, and I said to myself, I thought we finished that series. And then I looked in the grade book and we had not finished it. So tomorrow and Wednesday you'll take 2 quizzes each day, and we'll finish out the series of quizzes for each one of them. All right, on Thursday, and we're gonna have lessons on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, and then you have a test on Friday. Now, as far as what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks, what we're going to work on over the next couple of weeks is stuff that's not really a part of your final exam. It's very important material for next year at the high school. And whether you know it or not, the course that you take next year at the high school, Common Core Algebra 1, if you do not pass the Regents in that course, you cannot graduate high school. Now, my grandfather, he quit high school during the Depression so the family wouldn't lose the house. His dad had broken his back at work, and if my grandfather didn't quit high school, they would have lost the house. So he quit high school and he had a full-time job. In fact, he had 2 full-time jobs. And all of his pay, he didn't get to keep it. He gave it to his parents so that he wouldn't lose his house. Not exactly a fun thing to be doing as a high school kid. And his first job was to work at Pilgrim State Mental Hospital and also as a mechanic. He worked as a mechanic for a long time, 15 years or so. And then he worked as a custodian until he retired from that spot. And then he would also work as a carpenter, and he would also work as a truck driver. And he did all of this to make money. Now, why did he have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs for an extended period of time? Because if he didn't work it, he couldn't make enough money to get by. Why could he not make enough money to get by? Because he wasn't a high school graduate. And if you don't make serious money, you can't pay real bills. I drove by, I live off of Waverly Avenue, a little bit north of Sunrise Highway. And I drove by and there's a sign out there for help wanted at the Aldi's food store over there by Petco. And it says starting at $12.75. And the thought occurs to me that if you're a high school kid, $12.75 is some pretty good money. But if you're an adult, $12.75 is dirt. My mortgage payment is $2,400 a month. My car payment is $500 a month. My property taxes are almost $8,000 a year. Every dog show that my wife wants to go into, a cheap one, and of which there's only 2 a year, is $400. The one my wife is going to in Michigan, close to $1,000 weekend. It's 5 days, 4 days, yeah, close to $1,000. So my wife's hobby is dogs and stuff. Your hobby might be cars. Your hobby might be whatever your hobby is. My point to you is it's going to be expensive. So when you start adding up all of these kinds of money, Lenny, $12.75 an hour, it doesn't cut it. $12.75 an hour, I'm gonna round it off to $13 an hour, is $520 a week, which is $2,000 a month. And that sounds like an enormous amount of money, until you realize the government takes about a quarter of it in taxes. That knocks it down to $1,500 a month. And that $1,500 a month will not pay my mortgage, let alone food, clothing, gas, insurance, utilities, cell phone, any other bill I have. Wouldn't even come close. So if you want to live a life where you're always struggling to be able to pay the bills and to do what you want to do, that's what my grandfather experienced. And he did it because he couldn't graduate high school. But if you can graduate high school and get some kind of an education, and it doesn't have to be college. I'm not a huge fan of college. It could be a trade school where you learn how to be an electrician or a plumber, or you could learn how to own your own business, or you could go to college, any of those things. And you come out and you start making $50 an hour. Now you're getting real. Every Tuesday night at the library, it's $100. That's what I get paid to be there for 2 hours. Yep, $100, 2 hours. That's more than a full day at Aldi's. Yes?
Why are you not a big fan of college?
Hello? Yes? I have no idea. I did, nobody said anything, okay? Bye. Now, the reason I'm not a huge fan of colleges is there's two main reasons. The first one is that I think some kids are fantastic kids and they're not meant for sitting in a classroom. They want to work with their hands. They want to do things with their hands. And my experience is they lie to a lot of kids, and they say that if those kids don't go out there and go to college, somehow they're not going to be successful in this world. And that's it's simply not true based on what I've seen. I've seen lots and lots and lots of these kids become electricians and plumbers and carpenters and contractors, mechanics. And what happens is they all get this network of friends together, and they all do each other favors. And then this person who's never went to college but has built this network of friends together, he saves his money slowly over time. And then one day it's time for him to build his house. And he has a friend who's an electrician who owes him some favors. And he has a friend who's a plumber who owes him some favors. And he has a friend who's into framing who owes him some favors. And a roofer who owes him some favors. And all of a sudden he's getting his house put up for a fraction of what the guy who went to college would have paid to get the house put up. So that's one reason. Another reason is because some kids just mentally, they don't like it. They don't like sitting in a classroom. That doesn't make them bad. They can be great kids and not like to sit in a classroom. And the other one is that the debt that a lot of kids are coming out of college with is unbelievable. Now, I know kids who are coming out of college with $100,000 in debt, $150,000 in debt. Yeah, I do. Now, that's not to say college is all bad, because I know a kid who went to college and he went to the right school, he got connections, he's been working for about 3 or 4 years, and last year he got a $250,000 bonus. Mm-hmm. So college can be a home run. College can be great. I just don't think it's necessary to be great. I think you can be great without it. Also, the armed services. I think the armed services can be a great career if that's the kind of thing you like to do. There are people who have that mindset and they excel at that kind of thing. And my problem with the whole college thing is that there's a bunch of college academics who will say to you that if you're not going to college, there's something wrong with you. And I think there's something wrong with them. I think they're the problem. I don't think they're the solution. They do it so that they can protect their jobs. If all of a sudden 25% of the kids who went to college said to themselves, you know what, college isn't for me, I think I'm gonna open my own plumbing business. I think I'll learn how to do that, or maybe I'll learn how to do auto repair, or maybe I'll run some kind of thing that'll have nothing to do with college. Those kids will be successful in the world, but that's 25% less professors are needed at college. So all of a sudden, there are less professors with jobs. So you'll notice the people who say to go to college are the people who are the professors who stand to lose their jobs if you don't go to college. So those are some of the reasons why I don't like the whole college speech. My oldest son, he felt like he was letting us down because college wasn't for him. And I looked at him and I said, no, not at all. I don't think you're a better person because you go to college. 3 or 4 of the men I admire most that I've ever met in my life, only one of them went to college for 2 years. The rest of them never went to school. But they were great men. Great men. Okay, so tomorrow, 2 quizzes. Wednesday, 2 quizzes, okay? Or I might give you 2 tomorrow and then 1 Wednesday, 1 Thursday, based on how it shakes out. Because I want all the quizzes done by Thursday for both sets, so that on Friday, when you take your next test, you'll be there. Can you imagine if you get a grade on Friday like the grade you got just returned to you? Now, there are some people who did well. There were probably about 4 or 5 grades in the 80s, high 80s. That's pretty good. But there were some pretty bad grades. And if you repeat those pretty bad grades, now you're getting to the point, Melvin, where you might be looking at deep struggles for the last market period. I also want to remind every person in the room, in the 4th market period, it's the only market period of the year where whatever you earn is whatever you get. You cannot give below a 50 in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd market period. But if your average is below a 50 in the 4th market period, you can give it. And that, in turn, would really hurt your average. Now, we've covered everything that needed to be covered for the state test, and your final exam is based on the kind of questions that are going to be on the state test. So for the next 2 weeks, we're not going to think too much about the state test or your final exam. What we're going to think about is next year. And my hope is that I'm able to teach you some fundamental basic skills for next year, which will allow you to do really well in the high school and hopefully pass that region so that you do graduate high school, and then no matter what career you should choose, another really good career, I don't understand why they look down on this, a chef. If someone wants to be a chef, what's wrong with that? Yet, for some reason, you're like not a good person unless you go to college. There are so many great careers that people can have, and I want to make sure that those careers are available to you. So, here's today's sheet. Has everybody finished the do it? All right, you're going to be silent, and I'm going to give about 1 more minute in case you didn't finish the do it. So, what sheet did you grab? This is the sheet you should have. You have the right one. It's like a 1-page sheet. That's all it is. Yeah, you have the wrong one. You need to go get one of the right ones. It should look like this on the top, guys. Okay, you got 1 minute to finish that do it. Can you stop with the obnoxious noises? Okay, about another 20 seconds or so. These are all review type of things. Okay. Now. Now, this is going back more to the beginning of the year, but there's some danger elements going on right here. What kind of floor is this?
Positive. That is negative.
You gotta subtract 4 from both sides. -8 and -4 is -12. What kind of 3n is that?
Negative.
-3n. So I have to divide by -3, die, and is 4. How many people got that right? Okay, I would hope that that's close to 100%. Same side, opposite side. Opposite side, opposite side.
Opposite.
Minus 2a, die. What's 5 a's minus 2 a's?
3A.
Minus 9 is 26. Add 9 to both sides. 3a is 35, and this is an ugly answer, but we get ugly answers sometimes. 35 over 3. Do not feel compelled to convert that to a decimal. If you did convert to a decimal, and if in doing so you wrote 11.6, you would be wrong. If you wrote 11.7, you would be wrong. You would have to write 11.6 repeating.
I did that.
Not incorrect.
I did that.
What's that?
Incorrect.
I'm incorrect?
Yeah,
How so?
because it's 1.666666667.
Yeah, repeat it.
No, it's not 7.
No, there's a 7.
No, see, and that's my point. That's exactly my point. You're making it for me. The calculator rounds off for you, but the question didn't say to round off. So if you copy the screen on the calculator, you actually end up getting it wrong. And that's the danger, and that's why I brought up those answers the way I did.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
but
it'll
when you
say-
put repeated, that means it's only
Repeating
6.
means it goes on forever and ever.
Wait,
The
so
only
that-
reason it doesn't go on forever and ever in your calculator is the screen doesn't go on forever and ever. The screen ends, so it rounds off in the last place.
So it's like this?
It's 11.6 with a line over 6.
Okay.
Okay. Listen, it's a very, very serious matter, because I see kids who constantly lose points because they arbitrarily decide where to round off to, or maybe they do what Manny just mentioned, and they copy what it says on the calculator, because it's almost always the case that if you do copy what it says on the calculator, you'll get it right. But in this one case, it's wrong. All right, so now, next up, distribute. So I get 3x plus 12 plus x minus 2 is 20. This is the same size situation. I gotta do it quickly here. 4x minus 10 is 20. Adding 10 to both sides, 4x is 30. Dividing by 4. This time, if you copied 7.5 off your calculator, you're good. So let me go to what the lesson for today is all about. We're a little pressed for time. I lost track of it a little bit. Today is all about what we call combining like terms. And it goes like this, really easy. Hey, do not pack up. Hey, stop. I'll keep you here way past the bell. Now, look. I have 4 A's and a negative A. How many A's do I have altogether?
3A.
I have 3 B's and 2 B's. What do I have altogether?
5.
So the final answer here is 3A plus 5B.
Yep.
Don't pack up yet, Melvin. We do the letters first. I have negative 4x's and positive 1x's. What's that? Negative 3x. What's 8? What kind? Sit down. What kind of 3 is this? Positive. What kind of 8? What's positive 3 and negative 8? Negative 5. Okay. Calculator's back.
having students here in 205, Kiara Gonce,